if you're inviting someone to your home, you want the home to look nice, you want the home to have good energy. But if your emotional home that you're currently in is the negative one, and you're interacting with your family, with your kids, with your teens, you're actually letting them in to that emotional home. And that actually can have a negative effect because it can actually rub off on them and then become their emotional home as well. What's up, everyone? We're back for another episode of Teen Talks. We lied to you last week. We said that we were going to be doing an episode on creativity, but we've decided after a very spontaneous conversation that we were going to do a podcast episode on the importance of mindset. I love mindset. I talk about mindset all the time. It's literally what I do in my business. I'm a mindset coach for soccer players. But we're just having a conversation about what we're doing, both of us. I was reading out like my vision board and what I have written down. Susan was also talking about, her experience with mindset, something that she's going through right now as well, and how she has had to really make that shift in her life and also in her mind to just help her get through things. So I don't know if you want to open up to us about that a little bit more, Susan, about the whole mindset thing
Yeah,
and what you've
well,
been experiencing.
last week we mentioned that this is this now will be, I don't know, we're 55, 56 episodes. We've been doing this for over a year now, bringing you parenting advice, parenting insight, I would say, from a young, almost teen to an old me that raised 3 teens. And our passion has always been there because we want to change the world. We want to make a difference in the lives of kids and the lives of families. And we figure one kid at a time, just one family at a time is going to make this world better, and people are going to be happier. They're going to love themselves. They're not going to be comparing and worrying about everybody else. They're just going to live a beautiful life. And so that's been our passion. But then you go, all right, I've been working so hard on the Teen Talks, and I'm working so hard, well, both of us, on Firefly Quest, which is our company to with courses for teens. And it just takes a long time for it to gel and for it to get out there to the world. That's why we ask if you please share this with people you know. But and so sometimes it comes back. And the other day I just kind of day where it was just like, oh, we're doing all this work and everything. I mean, our heart's in it, but why isn't it getting out there? Is it worthwhile? Should we keep doing this? And you know what? It had to come back to go, yes, go back to the mission, go back to the mission. The mission is to empower teens, empower families. So stick with the mission stuff. Don't worry, it will happen. It's just going to take a while to get it out there.
Yeah.
And
And
I had to change it because I started to feel really down. It was like, okay, I allowed myself to feel down a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I can't continue this. So then
yeah.
as we teach our students, I had to get myself into states. So I start cranking the music, I start dancing around, I start saying affirmations, and all of a sudden my mindset changes back. So I'm like, I'm back, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Is that would you say is that a skill that you've kind of developed over time to be able to recognize like, okay, I know that I'm kind of in a slump right now, but I want to get back, so I'm gonna change my state and do all that? Or is it something that is quite recent? Like
Yeah, it's a
where does
good
that
question,
come from?
because it is, my life changed for 3.5 years ago
Mm-hmm.
when I found more personal development, Tony Robbins and Brene Brown and so many others that I can go into. And I just poured myself into it. It was during the pandemic, so my business was like crazy and nothing, things weren't working. And so once I did that, it changed my life because I was able to go, wait a minute, I can turn this negative, this depression, this anxiety, these stressful feelings, I can turn those on a dime if I change my mindset.
Mm.
I didn't even know what the word state was. Now, what is the word state? Can you
Yeah, well,
explain?
state is the way I like to put state is like the energy that you bring in the current moment, right? In the present moment. So if your state is down, or it is, you could be in a sad state or an angry state or a negative state, right? I mean, you look like this, you're slumped, your voice
Mhm,
is down, you don't have high energy. But then if you
mhm,
change your state and your state is in a high state, in a peak state, which is what Tony Robbins says, a peak state is like your ideal state. It's your ideal energy. It's the energy that you're able to bring where you're on fire. You're in flow state, right?
mhm.
And it's just more positive. Your your physical body is also changed. It's different. The way you
Yeah,
breathe, the energy that you have,
you
everything is
lift,
different.
you
Like,
lift.
yeah, I literally just did it right now. I was
Yeah.
giving the example. Um, so state is so much because the whole concept behind state is that if you want to change your reality, you have to change kind of your personality. You have to change what you're doing, right? And that starts with your physical body. It starts with what you're saying, what you're telling yourself, all these little things. And mindset is one of those things that it can literally change everything, right?
Mhm.
If you just have that strong mindset and you have that idea in your head and that you know that anything is possible, that you can do anything that you set your mind to, then huge change is possible, right?
Yeah,
And I think that there's something to be said about mindset when it comes to parenting, because I'm sure parenting is hard. Susan, you can probably talk
very,
more about this than I can because I have no
very
experience
challenging,
being a parent.
especially when they're teenagers.
Yeah, right? So
Yep,
it's like, I think it would be a good idea to talk more about this and mindset when it comes to parenting, because I'm sure there are days where it's just like, oh, I just can't be asked to do any of this stuff. Like I'm just like, whatever, right? I'm sure that happens.
oh yeah,
But how can parents make sure that they are doing their best to show up in the best way possible in a peak state so that they can give to their teens as much as they can, right? And show up for them as much as they can.
exactly. And you can't give to them unless you have to be there first.
Mm,
So if you're tired and cranky and all that stuff, that's what you're going to give to them, and that's what they're going to see. So you're tired and cranky. Why? Because you're challenged with so many things, you're busy, you're all this stuff. So you have to be purposeful to go, I need to take care of myself
yeah.
so that I can have the right mindset around my kids,
Mm,
you know. And taking care of yourself and changing your mindset is about keeping your environment positive, not letting negative things come in. Stop
yeah.
watching the news. Stop, you know, go to everything positive and take all these stuff in your environment out that's not.
Mm,
That's one way. And also to, like, calm yourself, do meditation, listen to soothing music if you're starting to feel stressed and all those things.
yeah.
And then start to remember what you're grateful for. What's when you're grateful, when you're in a grateful state, you can't feel bad. You can't
Mm,
suffer. So, go remind yourself, I'm grateful that I get to be looking out. I'm like right now looking out at these gorgeous trees outside my window, or I'm grateful that I get to sit here and talk with my friend Rayhan, or I'm grateful that, I have 3 kids. I'm so excited I have 3 kids. How blessed am I? That kind of thing.
yeah.
Your mindset is everything. And once you can bring that to the table, to the family, because you're taking care of yourself, you're going to change their state because
Yeah.
it rubs off. It's like energy. Energy is transferred. I mean,
Mm,
that's been proven. That is proven. Energy gets transferred in your environment.
yeah.
So if you're
And
coming in with peak state or beautiful state, we call it, it's going to change the environment in the room
yeah.
with
And
your
there's
team.
this and there's this thing, it's called like your emotional home.
Mm-hmm.
And many people, and this would be a good thing, is like to identify what your emotional home is right now. Many people's emotional home is fear or sadness, envy. It's quite negative, I would say. I mean, I would describe those as more negative emotions. But then you can always choose to have a more positive emotional home. Now, I didn't say this, but an emotional home is like the emotional state that you live in most of the time, right? So it's the one that you go back to. It's where you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which is patterns oftentimes
it is
built up
patterns. It's
over
always
time.
linked. Yes. So then you want to kind of make a decision, a conscious decision to be like, you know what, I'm going to change this emotional home of mine, right? One of the emotional homes that I love is gratitude, right? Because of how powerful that is. More recently, I have really latched on to the emotional home of peace, being at
Mm,
peace. I really like that. I like that because peace encompasses a lot of that stuff. It encompasses gratitude. It also encompasses love, joy, because I feel like when you're experiencing those emotions, you're experiencing peace.
yeah.
Um, so when you make that decision, what happens is it doesn't mean that anything happens in life and then you're not allowed to feel sad or angry or mad or, you know, feel nervous or anxious. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you experience those emotions for a little bit of time and then you make a conscious decision to just go back to your emotional home, similar to what Susan did recently, right? When she gave the
Yeah.
example. Um, so I encourage everyone to just think about what is your current emotional home? Just be honest with yourself. Like, what is that emotional home that you currently live in? And it might not be a conscious decision, but it might just be the reality, right?
Mhm.
And then I encourage you to then think about what is the emotional home that you would like to live in more often and just start being more purposeful about that.
Yeah, because we, like you said, we like to live in what's comfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes what's comfortable is, oh, well, depression, I'm used to that. I know that. That's comfortable. It's easy for me to just, right?
Yeah.
But it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to break those unhealthy emotions or those
Yeah.
unhealthy mindset is you've got to be aware of what,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, so think about what is it that I'm constantly in. Awareness comes first, and then go, okay, what do I want? I don't want to feel that way anymore. I want to feel
Yeah.
good, and I want to be a good example for my kids to show what feeling good looks like. So
Mm-hmm.
then you need to flip it and you start to do the things that are going to get you there. And so, like for me, lots of times it's cranking up the music and start dancing,
Yeah.
literally, because it's what you hear, it's what you believe, what you say to yourself. Get, put on those songs that just make you feel great, or mantras, or affirmations, or incantations.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things help
Yeah.
change your state
Yeah.
and change your mindset so that you will be a great role model for your kids. You're here because you want to be the best parent for your teen. Bravo! We are so grateful you're a Teen Talks listener and have chosen continual growth in parenting. You can do everything to encourage your teen, support your teen, and believe in your teen. But the reality is, your teen is the only one who can control how they feel, their actions, their beliefs, their resilience, and determine what they want in life. Your teen needs to develop the skills and mindset to be the driver of their life from the inside first, rather than letting their emotions take the wheel and accepting whatever life throws at them on the outside. And to be honest, they don't want to hear how to do it from you. So that's why we've created Thrive 101 Blueprint to be your partner in helping your teen transform their mindset and develop skills to thrive in any situation with resilience, passion, and action. And in just 10 short, engaging video sessions, your teen will learn to become more self-aware, discover what they want, to focus and take action on what matters, make decisions and serve them, and unleash the confidence that lies on the inside. Thrive 101 Blueprint is a teen's introduction to becoming the CEO of their life. Founding member access is open for a limited time. As a founding member, you get a massive discount, bonuses, lifetime access to video trainings and resources. Plus, you'll get discounts on any programs, courses, and summits that we offer in the future. And we have a big one coming up. Go to hub.fireflyquest.com/101p to learn more. Link is probably in the show notes. Living in these times requires teens to unleash their power to be the driver of their own life, because as much as you like to, you can't. We've got you.
Yeah. And think about it this way too, like if you're inviting someone to your home, you want the home to look nice, you want the home to have good energy, right? But if your emotional home that you're currently in is a negative one, and you're interacting with your family, with your kids, with your teens, you're actually letting them in to that emotional home. And that actually can have a negative effect because it can actually rub off on them and then become their emotional home as well, because that's what they're
Right.
used to experiencing.
Modeled.
It's modeled, right? So it's like, even if you don't feel like doing it for yourself, do it for them.
Yeah.
And I believe that you should be doing it for yourself before you do it for them. But if it isn't enough at this stage of your life where you're like, it doesn't matter. I don't care about myself. I just want my teen to be okay. If that is where you're at, then yeah, do it for them. Change the way that you live as a person for them, And
Mhm.
there's something, and it all starts with it just all starts with the mind. It all starts with the mind. Many people say like, okay, don't think about it, just do it. Yeah, but even having that type of a mindset, it's up here. You have to be able to channel that from up here. And
Mhm.
um it it makes such a big difference, right? What you focus on, right? And we've talked about this before. What you focus on is what you get, right? Where focus goes, energy flows. That's like the Tony Robbins quote. So make sure that you are focusing on the things that are serving you and not bringing you down and hurting you and your family.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And um, can you give us, you just read me before we started this, what you have on your wall that you look at for
Yeah.
change. And so I think that would be a good thing to read out.
Yeah.
This is this, I mean, this is a just turned 22-year-old kid who knows about mindset. This is what we teach to kids, and this is what he looks at every day. He has it
Yeah.
on as well, and I think it would be interesting to hear what it is.
Yeah, so from a very young age, I'll just give some context. My family and I, thanks to my dad actually, because he was quite into personal development, like he got us all vision boards, and we have had vision boards in our rooms for quite some time. And over the years, as I've like kind of grown and experienced life on my own, and just gone through this journey of life, I've like adapted my vision board to suit and to fit where I'm at in my life. And usually, there are words, there are pictures, there are images, and there's stuff like that. Today, what I have on there is a lot to do with my mission and who I am and why I do what I do. So I'll read it out. Um, so it starts off like this. I do it for mini me who believed. I do it for the kids in need. I do it to make the world a better place. I do it to experience life. I do it because I can. I do it because I must. I do it for myself, my family, and the world. That is why. I spread love and joy. I elevate those around me. I enjoy the experiences of life. I am grateful for everything. I help provide for the people around me. I am a force for good. I am at peace, and I am at one with the world. And then I have like these little words on the side as well, like that just inspire me. These are little things like whether it's a place in the world or experiences that I enjoy. So Hawaii, I love Hawaii. New York City, London, the beach, mountains, the sky, the stars, sunsets, safaris, nature, freedom, happiness, luxury, simplicity, people, earth, space, and purpose. Then in the middle, I have like my we call it an XYZ statement. This is like the mission statement of like what I do and who I do
Mhm.
it for. And it says, I help young soccer players master their mental game and improve on-field performance so that they can build confidence, resilience, and achieve their full potential both in soccer and in life. So yeah.
Yeah.
Susan, you have
Yeah.
something similar, right?
Well, I have, yes, I have my mission statement and a primary question that I ask myself to help me every day. And my mission statement is the purpose of my life is to love unconditionally, enjoy the journey, and be a positive force for myself and others. And
Mhm.
then my primary question is how can I appreciate and trust in God's guidance even more as He leads me to unleash my greatness to the world? And
Wow.
it took me a while. It took a lot of soul searching to come up with those, as I'm sure it did with you, but
Hmm.
it's worth it. It's worth to take time to really go and go, what is important to me? What is it I want? What do I live for? What is, that
Yeah.
for you as a parent deep into it right now? I'm sure that part of your mission statement is to raise happy, healthy kids, into adults, and it's a big job. And here's what I wanted to say too about mindset is as a parent, when your teen is in that, they're doing stuff that you just, because that's what they're meant to do. They're meant to challenge. They're meant to be moody. It just happens. And they're meant to say things that they don't think about, that just comes out. And they are meant to take risks and have natural consequences. That is all on them. It is not that they're a bad kid, and it is not your fault.
Mm.
It is what they're meant to do. And so I want to say that when you start to take it personally, then your mindset's going to change and it's going to bring you down. They are not doing this at you, to you, for you. This is how they're meant to grow up. And don't take it personally. Back off. Don't get involved in a negative argument or anything like that, because nothing's good is going to come out of it. And oftentimes they're scared. They're scared, they're insecure, they don't know what's going on. They just want maybe your presence.
Mm.
Maybe they see you be positive and just calm. Calm is when you're calm, they'll start to feel more calm. Less words, just more energy. And so your mindset is huge for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
everything. It's that energy. Yeah.
it's everything. And changed my life. My kids see it.
Mm-hmm.
We had Kyle, my middle one, on when we were doing a challenge. And one of the kids, remember, we were doing a challenge, and one of the teens asked us, well, how has this changed your life? Do people see it in you?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she asked that
Yeah.
question. And I said, yes, I think so. And my son was on and he said, oh my gosh, my mom is so different than she was before this.
Mm.
She's more fun. She's going after what she wants. She's, all those kinds of things. And same with you.
Yeah.
She asked you that question. What did you say?
Yeah, I mean, it changed everything for me, right? Whether it was my confidence, whether it was just the passion that I had inside of me, my purpose, my mission, and just the belief inside of me to be able to see everything through. And it
Mhm.
almost like when you understand mindset and you're able to start working on it, I don't think you can ever master your mindset. I think it's a continuous journey, like
Oh,
everything
for
in
sure.
life. But when you,
It's human nature.
yeah,
Human nature to
exactly.
sometimes, go to the fight or flight and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is a constant work.
Yeah, and when you work on it purposefully, then you start unlocking this version of life that is completely different, that is
Mhm.
so much better, if I say so myself. I think when I do like a side-by-side comparison between the life that I was living, that had a lot of fear in it, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of worry, compared to the life that I'm living now, where it's more hopeful, right? It's
Mhm.
more positive. It's filled with confidence, filled with peace. um, there's a huge difference. It is like insane how different both are. And
It is.
yeah, you unlock something very different.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's once you figure out your mission in life, your purpose, what is it you want to
Hmm.
do with your life, that's what you focus on.
Yeah.
Instead of the negative of why you're not getting that or whatever, focus on what you want.
Mm.
And your mindset will just transfers to everything positive. When you focus on what you want, it's almost like blinders,
Yeah.
right? Like putting blinders on. I don't need the negative. And if fear comes up, you go, well, wait a minute. What am I scared of?
Yeah.
I, that's not going to happen. That's in my
Yeah.
head. Let's change what's in here so that, you can go forward. Because
Hmm.
sometimes, I mean, honestly, I sometimes, I, I love to create, I love to connect with people, but when it comes to like marketing or selling or anything like that, it brings up this like fear thing in me. It's like, oh, I
Hmm.
don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But when I change and go, well, wait a minute. I'm serving people by telling them about this course, or I'm doing this because I want people to get better. I want kids to just love themselves and have a great life. And if I put that in my head instead of the fear of talking about it or trying to
Yeah.
sell it, then that goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
understand really quickly that it's all about perception, right?
mhm.
There's a quick example that I'll share. It's like if someone were to say something really mean to you, but in a foreign language that you don't understand, you would just be like, "Well, I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?" Right? 'Cause you won't understand what they're saying. But then if they were to say it in English, for example, a language that you understand, then you'd interpret that as something that's mean, right? But ultimately, everything in life is all about interpretation. You get to choose how you want to interpret everything, right?
Yeah,
And that's up to you. That's a choice that you get to make. And once you understand that you have power and you have control over that, then I think there's a big shift that happens in your life.
yeah, that's the other thing too, is so often, and I did this before, so often is, trying to control something that you can't control.
Hmm.
It's like a waste of time.
Yeah.
There's things that you cannot have control over, but you do have control over how you react, how you
Hmm.
respond, how do you choose to take it, all those things. And that's changed all with the mindset. It's changing the way you see the world. You have so much power in you that you don't even realize. That's what has changed both of our lives so much.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this, because can you imagine? I mean, that's a bummer for me. I didn't learn this until well after I raised my kids, and I'm old. Actually, not old. I'm experienced. And you got to learn this at like 15.
Yeah.
You know, what a gift. You're starting out with the right mindset from the get-go. Whereas I had to struggle and go through a lot of depression, a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I can change it on a dime. I don't have to
Hmm.
live that way anymore. And so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
So
And like you mentioned before, it's like understanding this stuff is one thing, applying it is another thing, and also understanding that you're going to experience the lows
oh,
regardless, because that
yeah,
is life,
that's
right?
life. We're gonna have
But
challenges.
exactly, the ultimate thing though is the choice that you make when those things happen, and that's where the power comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, there are things that are going to happen in your life that are going to suck, things that are going to be hard, things that are going to be challenging, and it's up to you ultimately to decide what you want to do with that. If you want to stay in that and you want to sulk in that and you want to let that take over, that's a choice. But if you want to control it, if you want to get through it, if you want to learn from it, if you want to grow from it, that's another choice. And you get to make it. You get to make that choice.
Yeah, because
So,
those things we don't really realize it. How you look at it, those things actually are gifts because it makes you stronger.
mhm,
And then the next thing that comes is you're gonna be able to handle it better because you go, I handled that.
yeah,
No problem. I saw what I grew from
yeah,
that. Now this time I'm getting hit again.
yeah,
Okay. Let's look at it as all right, yeah, it's challenging, it's hard, but it's coming at me for a reason. There's something I'm gonna get out of this. And I may not see it now,
yeah.
but no, I will see it at some point. Because if you think back, most every challenge that you've had has done something to change your life in a good way,
Hmm.
you know,
Always.
always.
Yeah,
If you look back in hindsight,
yeah,
like, I mean, there's things that have happened. Like, how many people do you know? You hear it all the time that they battled cancer, they almost died. It was awful. And they're asked, would you change that if you
they
could?
said no.
And they always say no because it
Yeah,
changed me, made me better. So yeah, when things get tough,
yeah.
change your mindset.
And these are great things to introduce to your teens as soon as possible. And it starts by you applying them to your life, I think, as parents. You know, you want to show before you say, and then slowly, introduce it to them, and then they'll start doing it as well, and they'll start experiencing that change, and they'll just live better lives. They'll start thriving even more.
Mhm.
And that's ultimately all that we want, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, my kids, and now that they're out and they're on their own, they're struggling with some things.
Yeah.
And, you come alongside and remind them of, you have a choice of how you're going to do
Mm,
this. You have a choice what you want to make of this.
yeah.
We all have a choice. And that's what I didn't realize before.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
this is our
choice is
mission.
yours.
Start what?
I was saying the choice is yours.
It
You
is.
get to
This is our
choose.
mission to get that message out there, especially to young people. So
Yeah.
anyway, we are glad you're here. This topic just came up out of the blue. We were just having a random conversation. Went, let's hit the record button.
Yeah.
So I hope it was
That's
a gift for you.
and that's how this podcast actually started. We've been every time that we would connect beforehand, like before we started this podcast in general, like episode one, we would just have these conversations, and then at some point we're just like, we should record these. Like, there's quite a bit of good stuff I feel like that we're having conversations about. And then
Mhm.
same thing happened today. We're literally just talking. Susan was sharing something, and then we just started having this conversation, and then boom, like, okay, yeah, let's do an episode on this. So yeah,
Yeah. Organic.
organic.
Yep, that's what we do.
All right, before we get too carried away, thank you so
Yep.
much. Thank you for tuning in, for listening, and for watching. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you all next week. Feel free to like, comment, ask us any questions, share this with whoever you know. Feel free to follow the podcast or to subscribe to it, depending on what
And
platform you're
it
on.
really helps us get the message out because it just takes a
Hmm.
village to get it going.
Yeah,
We can try as much as we can, but we really need you to help us. If you found this
yeah,
helpful for you,
yeah.
spread the word,
Yeah, and if you
share it.
don't, and honestly, like, we're being very genuine when we say this. If there's something that you don't like about the podcast, or if there are things that you think could be better, if you have any advice or tips or questions, whatever it is, just let us know, because we're here to grow
Mhm.
as well. We don't know everything. We don't have all the answers. We're learning. We're growing, and we're on this
Yeah, go
journey.
back to listen
So
to our first or second podcast to be like, oh gosh,
yeah, there's a big difference. There's a big
we've
difference,
come a long way.
whether it's the technology or even just like the comfort when it comes to recording an episode. But yeah.
We got a
Anyways,
long ways to go to grow. So yeah,
as well, yeah. We've
get
come a
better,
long
better.
way, and we have another long way to go. So yeah. But we appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Awesome.
Peace.